We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
Oh man. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. If you were looking forward to Terence Crawford versus David Benavidez at 168 pounds, I'm about to get unpacked, but I got some bad news for you. David Benavidez said, bad boy, take that. So don't look like the fight's gonna happen. Benavidez also rants about, basically, he feels that he was the one that was supposed to fight Canelo, which I agree with. But I'm going to break all that down in this video. Let's get unpacked. So David Benavidez did a brand new interview, and we're going to go through some of it. Let me get set up. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. But he feels it was a bit of stolen valor, if you will. I think that's a good way to frame it. Let me know what you think. So we're gonna get through this from the top.
Benavidez, Canelo should have lost to me, not Crawford. Calls it his stolen moment.
Calls it his stolen moment.
David Benavidez confirmed in an interview that he's not going to go down to 168 to challenge Terence Crawford for his undisputed super middleweight championship. Crawford took the stage instead. Benavidez says that it should have been him who fought Canelo 63-3 minus 239 KOs. He believes that should have been his moment to fight Alvarez, not Crawford's. However, Benavidez blames Canelo for not wanting to fight him, as he knew he would lose. That should have been the Mexican monster out there that night on September 13th.
Now, based solely on that, I already agree with this. Yeah, I already agree with this. I can't get any sharper on the channel. I'm sorry. I can't. I told you this was supposed to be David Benavidez. You ain't never heard me. And I know the Bud Buddies, they're going to get mad like, oh, but Boxingego, you're just hating on Crawford. First of all, I've been doing this a long time. I don't have any reason to hate on anybody. Let's be clear there. But the reality is, outside of Crawford, maybe some of his fans in Turkey, nobody was really requesting a Canelo Crawford fight. Nobody. You didn't really hear talk, because here's how I know. Terence Crawford, people just seen him move up and kind of struggle or have a tough fight at 154 with Israel Madrimov. Canelo's all the way over here at 168. So that's how I know nobody was really calling for that fight, because on paper, it looked like, you know, that's a big gap you got to fill. But it was strategic in Crawford's, you know, planning. He's seen something in Canelo and he was able to capitalize. He realized Canelo isn't one of these David Benavidez, Beterbiev, bivol, like bigger guys. He also started off at like welterweight or whatever early in his career. And although he was younger, I've already went over this several times, Canelo's truly older than Crawford in boxing years, right? Boxing years are like dog years. Your dog can be 2 years old in terms of human years, but the dog's going to get really big because dogs age at a more rapid rate. So with pushing 70 fights, Canelo looked very, very, every bit of a 70 fight pro, you know what I mean? And couldn't figure out Crawford. It is what it is, but I want to keep going. But I want you guys to recognize who's giving you all that real. I told you the Benavidez fight was the ticket. This was the ticket that needed to happen and it didn't.
September 13th, Canelo's missed opportunity. What the Mexican superstar Alvarez failed to realize is that it would have looked better in the eyes of the fans and in the record books if he'd lost to Benavidez than to Crawford, because he would have had a built-in excuse that he'd lost to the younger, bigger man to fall back on.
Now, again, isn't this exactly what Boxingego told y'all? If you fought Benavidez, Canelo's career wouldn't be in shambles, because when you're fighting somebody who's notable, who's younger, who's bigger, there's a possibility you can lose. That's something that must be considered. Benavidez is a terrific fighter, and we know he's younger and bigger than Canelo physically. So you almost, like this article just said, you would have a kind of a built-in excuse. You can be like, oh, it's Benavidez's time. He's a great warrior. He's bigger, younger. But losing to Crawford, there's no excuse. You gave Crawford nothing at the negotiating table. He still took the deal and he worked you. So now you have Canelo is cooked. Murder, she wrote, she wrote. Bro, you're cooked. You're super cooked because you have nothing to fall back on. Crawford was older calendar years. Fact. Crawford was smaller and started in a lighter division than Canelo. Fact. Crawford moved up pretty much 3 weight classes. Fact. Crawford had a struggle type performance in his last fight before Canelo with Madrimov. Fact. So there was no rehydration clause. There was nothing that really overly benefited Crawford in terms of what was negotiated. Canelo got the lion's share of the money, all that. So when you get cooked, you get cooked. It is what it is.
Instead, it looks bad that he got beaten by Crawford,
Facts.
who basically came up 3 weight divisions from welterweight to super middleweight to dethrone him. I have no interest in going down to 168.
You peep that? I have no interest.
I'm not saying I'm scared of Crawford. I have no interest in going down to 168.
See?
I have no interest in going down to 168. I have no interest in going down to 168. I have no interest in going down to 168.
This is what he's telling Fight Hub, David Benavidez. Pete, I have no interest in going down to 168.
I have no interest in going down to 168. I'm not saying I'm scared of Crawford. He's the man at 168. That's his weight class. I think Crawford took it more serious than Canelo. He looked like he didn't prepare 100%, throwing 10 punches per round, said David Benavidez to Fight Hub TV. Benavidez adds that he wouldn't move down to 168 to face Crawford for any amount of money. He's not interested in that fight. Again, he still wants to fight Canelo, but it's questionable whether it'll ever happen. If he wouldn't fight him before, he's not likely to do it now after losing to Crawford. That was my moment. His ego is so big that he thought he could walk through him, catch him with a big shot, and it would be done. I'm not happy that he lost. I just felt that could have been me. That was my moment, said Benavidez about feeling he was the one who deserved to fight Canelo. I would have had my hand raised, and that's why it didn't happen. Benavidez is right. It should have been him who got the fight with Canelo, as he'd been chasing him for years when he was fighting at super middleweight. He only moved up to 175 because Alvarez wouldn't fight. Benavidez was more deserving of the fight against Canelo than Crawford, who had never fought in the 168 lb weight class.
Boom. Everything that Boxingego been telling y'all. I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. That's how you get unpacked. Now, I didn't write this article, but I'll put a link in the description. The article was on point. I don't know the writer. I have never met him, but what he was saying was what I've been telling y'all, so y'all know I'm the best in the business. And it's not even close. This really was, and I know the Bud Buddies, they're going to get mad because Benavidez is saying what he's saying, but this is the reality. This really was Benavidez's moment. Benavidez should have been afforded the opportunity, but boxing shoots itself in the foot. Boxing is boxing, and you continue to see foul stuff happen, politics happen, and just cockamamie things that really shouldn't happen continue to happen, and the fans just got to deal with it. That's just something you got to deal with, and that's a reality. And it sucks for us as a boxing fan because we truly want to see the best versus the best. Now, Crawford was already doing his thing, but I've already explained this. Do y'all hear me? Y'all hear me out there? Huh? I've went over this time and time again. This Canelo Crawford fight, you guys can get mad. Oh, you hate it. Bro, it was not good for boxing. Crawford benefits from it. His resume needed a big name outside of car crash Errol. So it works out for him. I'm not saying that he did his thing. I told you, as far as like me and Crawford difference of opinions in the past, I'm willing to drop it. I'm still going to be me, and I'm still going to keep it real and tell you what I feel in this boxing game. But bravo, you did your thing. It was a strong performance. You didn't know me to, I don't make excuses, right? I said Canelo Crawford before the fight. I said Canelo Crawford, whoever wins. We not making no excuses. You ain't heard me make one excuse. Crawford was the better man. Crawford executed. Crawford got in shape. Crawford took contractual risks that Canelo didn't have to face. Like, Canelo was of the weight class. He was the champion. You know what I mean? So props to Crawford. It's not even about that. It's still about the greater good of boxing. And, you know, Turkey coming in with money and just like moving things around, playing musical chairs. To me, this stuff doesn't really benefit the sport of boxing. I've been trying to tell y'all, because now you got a 30, because Crawford's 38 now. I know he was like, oh man, you putting age on me and you trying to make me sound older. He said that in an interview. He's actually 38 now. He had a birthday. He's in Japan right now or whatever. Cool. But he's 38. He's been fighting one time a year. Guantanamera, porque, right? He's fighting one time a year for the last, since the pandemic, basically. That's a fact. People get mad at my channel because I say it so calculated. I say it so blunt. You guys want me to spoon feed you and sugarcoat it. I'm not doing none of that. Don't watch me. If you don't like my content, you don't like my voice, you don't like how I gets down, don't watch me. I'll get some new fans. Boom. But that's the reality of it. And now Crawford is the man. He's number one pound for pound on mine. You know what I mean? He's like 1A and 1B is Usyk. Both great fighters, both doing their thing. Cool. I gave him his props. But for the sake of the division, 154 was stacked with like ready-made fights. They're not, I guess we're talking about money. See, and this is what I hate to do this, because when I talk about it, people get mad. Why are you bringing up the business? The fights maybe don't pay as much. Like for me, I don't care. Like if the Saudis got the money, pay him for these great fights at 154. They would have been better fights. I promise you. Canelo looked horrible. Canelo looked rookie. This was David Benavidez's moment, all that. Canelo is not going to win. Benavidez just told you. You're throwing 10 punches around. That is not going to cut it at an elite level. So between having all these kids and going on vacations and baby showers and golfing and all that drinking and all this stuff Canelo be doing, he looked like domesticated. He don't even look like the same fighter anymore. And it's not just the Crawford fight. Been a minute. Now we see why he ducked the fade with Benavidez. Point blank, period. I don't care what none of y'all talking about. And I'm qualified to talk this talk because I was saying everything I'm saying right now before Crawford won, before the Canelo Crawford fight. So I'm thoroughly qualified to keep saying what I've been saying. And it's unfortunate that boxing fans get treated like this, because we could have been in for a bigger fight, in my opinion, Canelo Benavidez. But now if we get it, I mean, cool, but it'll just be it'll be like Fury and AJ now, or AJ and Wilder. Cool, you know, people might want to watch it just to see what would happen, but it is never going to hit the same way it could have hit. You know what I mean? If they would have fought all these fights that I just mentioned, including Canelo Benavidez, that would have hit like crack in the 80s. If they would have did it when I'm telling you, when Wilder was undefeated and AJ was undefeated, they were both knockout artists, great dynamic, UK knockout artists, American knockout, that would have did numbers, but they couldn't get the politics together. We already know Eddie Hearn and AJ. I'm not even going to go over that. and then we're stuck. Same thing with Canelo. Canelo didn't want to pass the torch to Benavidez, so I agree. This was his moment. He was robbed of a moment, and then the smaller person who they played musical chairs with kind of pops up, and then now the division's kind of like, what do you even do? Because can Crawford even be expected to go up to 175, or, you know, as he moved down to fight small names? It's cooked. We unpacked.